The Yankees win their first game in Anaheim, and Aaron Judge had some things to say about Oswald Peraza. We're going to tell you all about everything coming up on an all-new live edition of Locked On Yankees.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias, and with me as usual at this very late hour, my co-host Brian McKeon. Brian, how are you holding up?
Oh, Stacey, we're holding up.
Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, and hit the bell so you know when our videos go live. On today's show, we'll preview Game 2 between the Yankees and the Angels. Aaron Judge spoke to the media about Oswald Peraza. We'll tell you what he said and what Peraza's been doing behind the scenes to try and get better. But first, my apologies to Jack Kachanowicz, who I was calling Josh on Monday show. So I apologize. I swear to God, it said Josh when I first saw it. So I don't know. Then I saw that he was called Jack. And so my apologies to you. My thanks to the Blue Jays for releasing Ryan Yarbrough, because he's doing amazing things for the Yankees, huh?
Yeah, where'd this come from? All of their starters, really. It's from top to bottom how good everyone's been. I feel like that's really been the talking point, underlying talking point this year for the Yankees is how good their starting pitching's been. In a year where you enter the season with Garrett Cole getting hurt and your starting pitching is your biggest weapon, really crazy stuff. And this Angels team has not been playing well lately. They got shut up by the Marlins yesterday. They got 3 hits in that game. They got 4 hits in this game. They got 1 run. I mean, it was just not been a great 48-hour stretch for this Angel team. But listen, Yankees didn't necessarily play unbelievable in this game either, but they got timely hits when they needed them. They scored the runs they needed to, and they pitched really well.
Yeah. Yarbrough, 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. The 1 run was the solo shot by Zach Neto in the first inning. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. He threw 59 pitches for strikes out of his 88 pitches that he threw.
Really good. I mean, really good job.
And James Smythe of the S Network, he said that Yarbrough had at least 1 K with all 5 pitches, 3 on his change, 1 cutter, 1 sweeper, 1 sinker, and 4 seam. So
yeah, he was unbelievable. The pitching decisions in this game were weird, but I thought Yarbrough was great. I mean, has he moved up to their 4-starter right now?
It seems like
based on what Clark Schmidt's doing lately. I mean, they're not going to remove Clark Schmidt from the rotation.
Right.
But based on what Clark Schmidt's done, I think he's the number 4 starter right now.
Yeah, it looks like it. In his 4 starts this season, Yarbrough's ERA is 2.25. The batting average against is 171. He has 19 strikeouts to 5 walks, and his home run per 9 is 135. So he's given up 3 in 20 innings. You know, he was one of those guys. I saw a few people say this sentiment, but they were talking about how annoying he was to face or see the Yankees face him, and people feel a lot better having him in their rotation.
He's a frustrating kind of pitcher, especially one that performs in today's era of baseball, right? Doesn't really necessarily kill you with velocity. Isn't this like over-the-top wow performer. He's not a Jacob deGrom type where it frustrates you to watch him pitch. He locates. He's got great command. He's got great stuff. And, the velocity really does, it helps his cause, and it hurts other teams big time. It's hard to adjust to that. And you look at it from the flip end now. Now, if you're an Angel team that's going to facing Rodón tomorrow, who is a flamethrower with great stuff, it's a really tough thing to balance if you're the Angels.
Yeah. 2 things that you mentioned. You mentioned the Angels playing the Padres. The Padres walked off on the Marlins on a walk-off wild pitch. And what was the other thing that you mentioned that I wanted to bring up?
The Angels don't score runs?
No, it was something else. I'll think of it again. So let's talk about the offense. Top of the 4th, they score 4. And I like the way they did this because it was single, single, single to load the bases. Bellinger walks, and then Volpe hits the bases clearing double over Chris Taylor's head. I might add, Chris Taylor just came over to the Angels after being released by the Dodgers. Chris Taylor, who was running his mouth after the Yankees lost to the Dodgers. So liked seeing him strike out, liked seeing the ball go over his head. That made me happy.
Didn't have to commute much. Didn't have to commute much.
Yeah, because I'm petty like that. So no, I really like the way that inning went for them, because again, you like to see the Yankees not rely on the home run, and they scored all the runs not on the home run.
100% timely hitting it. And like, those are the kind of hits we talk about. You need that kind of play when the postseason comes, right? That's the kind of stuff that helps. The Yankees are now tied for the lead in sacrifice flies this year.
Well, I was just going to bring that up.
I apologize then.
No, that's fine. But yeah, no, they are good at the sac fly. Austin Wells got one to make it 5-1 in the top of the 8th. But yeah, I wasn't worried about this game, actually. I used to be more worried about when the Yankees would play in Anaheim, but my God, I mean, they do joke about it being West Coast Yankee Stadium, but that place was so loud when Volpe hit that double.
Yeah, I mean, it was the 4th sellout of the year for them, and I mean, they don't draw a lot of fans there, as we know. I mean, it is a holiday, but on a Monday, you don't really expect a ton of fans to be there, and the place was packed. I mean, more packed than you usually see Anaheim.
Oh, I did think of what I thought of what I was going to say before.
Let's hear it.
I would have been a little more afraid of the Yankees going into the series against the Angels if they had just come off the series that they had against the Dodgers, because they did really well in that series. So if the Yankees were playing them right after that, I would have felt a little worried about this. But coming in now, after, a little bit of time has passed between those series, I felt a little more comfortable watching the Yankees against the Angels.
I'd agree with that. And by the way, as we've complained about the schedule a lot lately, they do get a little bit of a scheduling treat here because they're in LA all week and they get an off day in the middle. So this is a really cool scheduling point for the Yankees. They get to hang out in Los Angeles for a week.
Yeah. So the bullpen, you have some thoughts about how the bullpen or what
I just
was
don't
doing,
get
right?
it. So why do you? I mean, if you have an explanation for it, please feel free to let me know. De Los Santos was fine. He wasn't great. He was a little over the place, but he was fine. Leiter worked himself into trouble, but got himself out of it and still had gas in the tank, one would think. You still had Ian Hamilton, even though he had a lot of pitches in the last couple of days. You did have Ian Hamilton available. Why use Luke Weaver in a 4-run game? And now because you used him, he went 2 days in a row because he pitched in the last game of the Rockies series, and now you can't use him tomorrow when it could be a safe situation. I don't understand the notion. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
And it's not the same situation as last week against Texas because he barely threw any pitches in those outings, so he was able to do a third in a row, where these last 2 outings have been kind of iffy for him. He made things a little sweaty again there in the 9th, but I will say his ERA went down from 0.76 to 0.73.
Yeah, it just doesn't. Why? Because now you don't have him tomorrow, and now if it's a 2-run game, you're gonna wish you had him. Right. I don't understand why you're forcing him into a game. To me, this is like you said yesterday. This is another one of the perfect Ian Hamilton spots. Get his confidence back. It's a 4-run game, and then maybe have Luke Weaver loosening up if you need to bring Luke Weaver in. No. But Anaheim, don't let them make it a grand slam opportunity to tie the game.
Right.
As long as it doesn't get to that point. Why is Luke Weaver in this game? It doesn't make any sense to me. And again, you kill one of your top bullpen pieces for tomorrow available. This is one of those decisions that, it's not center front when it comes to the biggest news of the game. They won the game. It's a great game, whatever. But it's a little tidbit in stuff that can wind up hurting the team, because now if they can't use him tomorrow and Devin Williams, who struggled in that role all year, winds up having another blown save, it's like, why wasn't Luke Weaver available?
Right.
Very, very peculiar.
Yeah, I don't like how certain things that Boone does, like, it feels like he doesn't have, what's it called? When, like, he doesn't look ahead. Like, he doesn't think of what could possibly happen in 2 days. He's thinking about now and what to do now, when you should with a bullpen.
This is not a think now moment against the Angels on a Monday night in May.
With a 4-run lead.
Yeah, like that's not a think in the moment. That you think in the moment when it's game 5 of the ALCS and you need to win this game right now.
Right.
But a game in May against the Angels when you're up 4 is not a time to think about in the moment. That's a time to think about the overall picture of things. Just
Right.
very confusing decision there.
Right. So don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. If you do, you get top priority on Fan Mail Friday. The link is in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. All right, coming up next, Aaron Judge. I'm not sure if he was asked about Oswald Peraza, but he volunteered some information that he had about Oswald Peraza. And there were some things that we found out about what Oswald Peraza is doing to try and make things better for himself. So we're going to talk about that next.
Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades, Supply House. And whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with the complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. You need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for the trade pros looking for the extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage, and now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, you can use promo SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's all available on supplyhouse.com.
So Fan Mail Friday, YouTube audience, we have a new way for you to leave questions for us. Instead of doing the pinned comment, we're doing this now. If you go to our page and you click on posts, you will see a post where I tell you to leave the Fan Mail Friday questions, although I did not do that yet. I forgot to do that. But the deadline is Thursday at 5. I will put the post up after we're done tonight. Knew I forgot to do something today. So I thought this was interesting. I'll admit, I didn't see this until earlier this evening. I was looking through Reddit. I forgot all about Reddit because you can get ideas to talk about certain things, or people will post things that maybe you didn't notice on Google because sometimes some of these things don't pop up. So it's an article by Brendan Cuddy, and it's titled Yankees former top prospect Oswald Peraza not taking advantage of best chance yet. Right. True. Here's the thing. He's finally getting regular reps, and he did not have a great night tonight. 3 strikeouts. He did hit the ball kind of hard his last at bat, but and he had the one really great play at third, and then he had the kind of iffy play in the ninth. I just feel bad for the kid. I feel like he's almost in a lose-lose situation right now. But I also think that because the team is doing so well and other guys are covering up him not doing so well, like if everyone else in the lineup was doing horribly, it would stick out more that Peraza striking out 3 times a game because, Ben Rice struck out a couple times and things are happening to other players. But this is the chance for him. This is his chance. His best friend, his buddy, this was also in the article, Oswaldo Cabrera, they're like brothers. They're really, really close. Gets hurt, is out for the rest of the season. This is Oswald Peraza's time to shine. And Aaron Judge agrees with that. He thinks he should get as much playing time as he can. I just want him to take advantage of this, and he's not so far.
Yeah, this is his opportunity to take advantage of it, right? And it's got to be frustrating if you're Peraza because he's really, not gotten consistent play time since he's been a full-time major leaguer, right? And there really hasn't been many times that he's been considered a full-time major leaguer. But now he is. The Yankees have no options, and legitimately, they can't move him down. They can't send him anywhere without him, being released at this point. So he's guaranteed to be on the club. And, with their problems at third, this is the perfect scenario, right? Because, I know it's his friend, but he now has no competition at third base. They're actively looking for a third baseman. Why not that go be him? Now, there was a report released earlier today that the Yankees are going to be aggressive, apparently, in the trade deadline market for a third baseman.
Funny how they weren't aggressive during the offseason.
weird. But again, so you have the Yankees looking for a starting third baseman. You have no competition currently on the roster for you playing third base. You have the most play time you've gotten. And oh, by the way, the captain gave a vote of confidence in you. And the team cannot do anything with your options. They can't send you down. They can't put you anywhere but the major league roster. So this is your best chance imaginably possible. You'd like to see him seize the moment because he's got his best chance by far since he's been a major leaguer to take advantage of this. And it would be really frustrating if he can't at this point.
Yeah, Peraza said, I'm getting a lot of experience, but if I'm not playing every day, I'm watching the game. A lot of my teammates are superstars, and I talk with my teammates every day. And hitting coach James Rowson said that Peraza has been making improvements, particularly with his swing and his approach. And he said that Peraza's done a better job swinging through the baseball. Quote, you're in that position where you're able to get behind the baseball and drive through it. You can see when the ball strikes the barrel, you can tell it's square and there's room for it to go. I think he's getting to that point where he's doing that more consistently. And he said that Peraza has better learned to game plan at the plate as well.
Yeah, but now you got to put it into production, right? I mean, like this is it's all good to say how hard the guy works behind the scenes and how good his at-bats look. But at the end of the day, you got to perform, right? I mean, even when Aaron Boone tells you that the guy's pitches look good and he had good stuff out there, if the guy's not performing, he doesn't pitch. So, I mean, you have to perform at this point. He has to hit.
Yeah. Judge's quote about Peraza came after the 13-1 game on Saturday. He said, give him a chance to play every single day. Good things are going to happen, because Peraza did have a double. He hit a double in that game, right? I put all the games together in my brain, like once they're passed, and I'm like, wait, which game was it that he had the double? Because sometimes there's too much information in my brain, and yeah. But like I said, I wish I could like send him positive energy because I really want him to take advantage of this. I have been advocating for him for like 2 seasons now. And I just really want him to take advantage of this chance. And it
certainly hasn't been fair, but I mean, this is the opportunity that he's been waiting for.
Right.
So he's got to take advantage of it now.
Playing time in the last, almost week and a half now? So we'll see.
They're giving him the shot. They are, but he's this. And I've been a proponent of him too, but this is the time where he has to take advantage of it. Like, there's no excuses anymore after this bit.
Well, think about it. If they're going to be aggressive at the trade deadline, he has 2 months to get his act together. Really.
Yeah. And if he does, they'll gladly not go get a third baseman.
Right.
If he's playing at a major league capable level and hitting 270 and giving you the power that we know he has in his bat, they're not going to need to go out there and get a third baseman.
Yeah.
They're not. It's just, but make them make that decision. You know what I mean? Like, don't allow them that they'll gladly not go get one. Gladly. But make it easy for them to make that decision.
Yeah. So Peraza said he's been feeling more comfortable with his swing and that he's making a lot of adjustments every day. And he said, I want to play every day for the New York Yankees. I can't control that. I practice every day. I want to play every day for sure, but I want to play here for a long time.
Yeah. I'll say to Retro Tony, who put a comment in there, that he looked awful in the field as well. He didn't have a great play in the 9th inning, but before that, he made a tremendous play at third base. And I don't think Peraza's glove is the Yankees' top concern, to be quite honest with you. I think it's his bat. His glove has always been a positive sign for him. I think it's the bat. And again, in the minor leagues, he's shown plenty of times of power, right? Of pop in his bat. It's just about putting it together consistently now as a whole package.
Yep. All right, coming up next, we're going to preview Game 2 of the series with the Angels. Well, we're not just going to preview the game. We're going to talk about how great Carlos Rodón has been because he's the one starting. Technically later tonight, it's very early in the morning on Tuesday as we record this. Another 9:38 start. Carlos Rodón against Tyler Anderson. Rodón is 6-3 with a 2.88 ERA. Anderson is 2-1 with a 3.60 ERA.
Yeah, and Rodón has. It was funny. Kay mentioned it towards the end of the broadcast that he was calling in the process, I guess, of calling Rodón the Yankees' number 2 starter, and he kind of had to catch himself and say, "Well, no," because he's been more than a 2 this year. And he really has been. I mean, he got into a little bit of a struggle to start the year, but really since then, Stacey, I mean, he's been more than the Yankees could have ever asked for, right?
Well, yeah, it's like I said the other day, it's because his beard has fully grown in.
That might honestly be it. 65 and 2/3 innings, 21 earned runs, 8 homers, 26 walks, 80 strikeouts, though, in 65 innings. He's well on pace for 200 strikeouts this year, which would be the first time he's done that as a Yankee. Again, his stuff, and it's got to be a total mess around for the Angels and what they're used to seeing, right? When it's tough to go from a guy who's throwing in the low 90s, upper 80s in Yarbrough to all of a sudden get Rodón, who's throwing 100 up in the zone with a really ridiculous sweeping slider. So I think that is the benefit for them too, of like splitting Yarbrough in the middle of the rotation too, of having then Rodón follow and then Frito go Friday. I really think splitting that up throughout the rotation is intentional. Just to get teams off balance, get teams off their groove. It really does help. So I'm looking forward to this Rodón start, as I am looking forward to every Rodón start, because he's got an opportunity continuously. I mean, the Yankees, was the expectation and the thought going into the Gerrit Cole starts exciting? Yeah, it really was exciting. And seeing Gerrit Cole start this year would have been great with Fried behind him and Rodón behind him. It would have been awesome. But they do have an opportunity also to have 2 number ones at the top of their rotation this year, as opposed to what most teams have. They could have had 3. And I guess we'll get a chance to see that next year. But they really can still have 2 number ones at the top of the rotation this year. And that's still, you could do something with that.
I like how they're splitting the lefties, because Fried, Rodón, Yarbrough are the lefties. And then you have Warren and Clark Schmidt in between them. I like how the rotation sets up that way. I also like that Max Fried is scheduled for Friday against the Dodgers. I was kind of glad that it worked out that way. But the
Dodgers are also getting their health back, which is going to make an exciting series also.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I believe Ohtani is throwing to people now off the mound.
Yeah. Live batters, but not, from what I've seen reported, it looks like they're going to take things very slow with Ohtani. Like, they're not going to rush him back at all. They just want to have him back for the postseason. So it looks like Friday you're going to get Fried versus Gonsolin, who hasn't really had a good year. The Dodgers, by the way, also have used the most starting pitchers of any team in baseball this year, because they just had so many injury problems. Blake Snell's on a 60-day IL as per usual, because when is he ever healthy? But that team is just, I mean, you're going to have legitimate starters that are on starter salaries that are not getting playoff starts for them. That's how loaded they are.
Right, because he's injured. Glasnow's still injured?
Yep, Glasnow's still been out. Their IL is just their IL is an all-star team.
Yeah.
It's insane how good they are. But yeah, it's gonna take a bit for everything to kind of work into form here. I think they're all kind of hurt, but their fielding players have actually went up, been really healthy since the start of the year. Mookie Betts is back. Freddie Freeman's back on the field. Their team is just, I mean, they're so loaded. So seeing Fried face them on Friday is must-watch TV to see what he can actually do against the best team by far he's going to face all year.
Yeah. And let's talk about Wednesday anyway. So it's Clark Schmidt, 1-2, 4.58 ERA against Yusei Kikuchi, who's 1-4 with a 3.17 ERA. Kikuchi bothers me only because when he was with the Blue Jays, it felt like the Yankees would get to him, and then the next start he would baffle them, and then they'd kind of get to him. It was almost like every other Kikuchi start that they would have issues with him, and it's frustrating to watch them go up against a guy like that, where like I just would want them to hit him all the time, not have it be back and forth, His
numbers are also the telltale sign of playing on a good pitch I wouldn't say a good pitcher playing on a bad team. 1-4 with a 3.17 ERA. Like, good ERA, not bad at all, but 1-4.
And that's another weird thing about the Angels. Like, they bring in Yusei Kikuchi, who's, he has a track record in MLB, but like, what else do they do? Like, some of the guys.
Travis d'Arnaud, Chris Taylor.
Yeah, but like, you know what I mean? Like, some of the guys who come up to bat, some of the pitchers, you're like,
very lack of inspiring. Not really nothing special out there. Very odd.
And Trout's hurt, right? Which is why,
as usual. I mean,
needed...
that you could have you could have guessed that one and got it right almost every year of his career.
I feel so bad for him. I mean, when he's healthy, which I feel like we say that with a bunch of Yankee players too, but when he's healthy, he is unbelievable. It's annoying to watch, yes, as an opponent, but if you're watching a game where you're watching him against another team, you can't help but root for him. He's just so good at baseball when he's healthy, which is always the caveat with him.
This is going to become the story of his career, though.
Yeah.
He's never on the field. I mean, every year of his career, there's significant injury time missed. And the years that he plays, it's 40 home runs, 100 RBIs on an awful team, by the way. 320 hitter, 440 on base. I mean, he's steals bases. He's an elite outfielder. There is not a single negativity you can find in his game.
Yeah.
The problem is he doesn't play. Like, he's just never on the field healthy.
Yeah.
That and the other guy missing from this series, which, I mean, this has to be discussed because it's not talked about enough. Anthony Rendon, who got this massive it was the typical Angels signing where they didn't get a pitcher that offseason. They went out and got the top hitter available because why not? Even though they didn't need offense. Right. But you go out and you get Anthony Rendon to this massive contract that he really didn't deserve, but got it because he was coming off a really good performance winning a World Series with the Nationals. And since then, he has had multiple incidents of basically saying publicly that he doesn't even like playing baseball. And then being hurt consistently. The guy is never available, never on the field. I mean, he's not going to play all of this year now. I mean, who knows if he's going to play. Like, he's begging the Angels to eat him out of this contract. He's begging it to happen. The guy is just never available, Stacey.
He's also gotten into altercations with fans in the stands.
Oakland, right?
Yeah, like just it's the Angels are just they're ownership is like a tire fire.
Yeah.
Mike Trout is one of the best generational players right now.
They had two of them in the same lineup. They had Ohtani on that team. People are gonna forget that, by the way.
Right, because they never make the playoffs. Mike Trout's played in how many playoff games? 3?
3, and got swept. He lost all 3.
Yeah, and that was at the beginning of toward the beginning of his career, because that was 2014, right? Yeah. I mean,
and it's funny too, because I'd be willing to bet right now when the story goes on years from now of what team Shohei Ohtani was on, people are going to think of him as a Los Angeles Dodger, which is crazy. He chose the Angels when he first came over from Japan. He chose the Angels, and they couldn't do anything. They didn't have a prayer of keeping him. He wanted to go to the Dodgers. They paid him the most money. It's an enigma of how they are so incredibly bad, like mediocre and just bad every single year. It's I can almost guarantee you're going to have conversations with people in 10, 15 years when Ohtani's no longer a major leaguer, and the conversations are going to read of younger people telling you, well, yeah, the great Dodger Ohtani. They're not going to know that he was an Angel. That's how pathetic they're for. They had Trout and Ohtani. That's 2 potential top 10 talents in the history of baseball on the same roster at the same time period, both in their prime, and they didn't play in a single playoff game. It's wild to think about.
Awful. Absolutely awful. I complain about it all the time. People think I'm like crazy for even caring because I'm a Yankee fan, but that drives me crazy. That drove me nuts.
Oh, it should.
That those 2 guys were consistently on a team where the ownership was like, yeah, we don't really need that much pitching, do we?
Never. I can't think of a year they have actually acquired a big-time pitcher. Now, there's been years where they've been in on a big-time pitcher. They were really in on Garrett Cole, apparently, the year Garrett Cole was a free agent. There's been years they've been in on big-time pitchers, but they're never one of the last teams involved in getting a big pitcher. And the pitchers, it seems like, use the LA market to raise their contract status, but they never actually sign. I think the last big-time pitcher they signed was C.J. Wilson. Legitimately. I think that was the last big-time pitcher they signed. Think about that.
Wow.
That was the same team with Jared Weaver, and they were good. They had a decent pitching staff back then. But I think that's ever since then, it's been hitter after hitter after hitter after hitter, and guys go there to get hurt. It's crazy.
Did you mention DeGrom earlier?
Probably. Which is crazy. You want to hear a crazy Jacob DeGrom stat because he started today.
Yeah, because I was going to mention it.
Yeah. It was his 249th career start in Major League Baseball. It's the first time he hadn't had a strikeout, which is nuts. I did watch a bit of that game because I love watching Jacob DeGrom pitch, and he was just, pitching to contact. Still pitched really well because when does he not?
Yeah.
But he was pitching to contact the entire game. Wild.
Yeah, that is wild. And incredible.
For a guy like that, it's crazy. For a guy like that, with that
many
kind of
starts, that's wow. And it's funny to think about. He's been pitching for a really long time now. Like he's old. No offense, but he's considered old in baseball.
And still amazing, and still throwing hard.
Unbelievable.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us for this live late night stream.
It'll be all week, guys. All week.
Yes, we're going to be live tomorrow as well, or later, whenever. Depends on.
No, it'll probably be tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess, because it depends on when the game ends and what goes on. So look for that. I'll put the link up for the stream, before the game, obviously. So we'll schedule it tentatively for 12:15, and if it has to be pushed back because the game ends later, we'll push it back.
Let's hope not.
I know. Yeah. Stace, why did you say that? Now they're going to go to extra innings. Sorry.
The West Coast is not friendly. That last West Coast trip of the year, though, so that's good.
Yeah. So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you tomorrow.